Christmas morning can be way more relaxing at your house this year than usual. So we're going to be sharing some great ideas with you today so that you can be enjoying Christmas morning with your family instead of slaving in the kitchen. Because you can get these made today or tomorrow so that on Christmas morning,
it's just a breeze. You'll have them all thawed and you just throw them in your oven or whatever you need to do.
These could not be easier. So let's get to the first recipe.
Awesome.
The first recipe we're going to be sharing with you is a mixed berry French toast casserole. I am so excited about this one. You know what the best thing about this one is?
What?
It's very good.
It's very good. We're doing jokes here this morning, folks.
I couldn't do it with a straight face.
I was not expecting that. That's a dad joke. We'll get to the recipe.
So this is one that you're going to actually do in a casserole dish or a foil tray. And the nice thing about that is that, again, on Christmas morning, you're just gonna thaw this and toss it in the oven. You can actually pull it out the night before to thaw it in your fridge, and then in the morning, plunk, and you can be in the other room opening stockings or reading a book while breakfast is cooking. You're gonna cut up a French bread into cubes and then place the cubes into your baking dish. In a large bowl, you're gonna mix together half a dozen eggs, some heavy cream or whipping cream, a little bit of sugar, some cinnamon, vanilla, and salt. Pour that over your bread cubes. Get that as evenly dispersed as you can, and then you're just going to top it with some frozen mixed berries. Now, when I did this, I made 2 at a time because we have a really large family. I know that we'll probably be going through more than one, especially on Christmas morning when we'll have a few extras here. Then you're gonna get that covered with 2 sheets of foil and get that in your freezer. On Christmas morning, you've got your thawed mixed berry casserole. You're just going to put that into your preheated oven. It bakes for like half hour, 45 minutes. If you want to, you can make a little bit of a topping with some butter and brown sugar. Melt the butter, stir in some brown sugar, and just drizzle that over top. Or you can just eat it like this because it's gonna be delicious either way.
I think this is something that I would maybe want to do like an icing sugar glaze with maybe a little bit of lemon in it.
Oh, that would be nice and bright.
Very bright. Or, do you know what? Spoon it out and put maple syrup on the table.
Oh, totally.
And
perfect for French toast.
It's good for French
casserole.
toast. And it'd be great on French toast casserole. I think that would be good too. Are you also planning to have like whipped cream on the table?
You could, but honestly, I'm trying to make this Christmas morning as easy as possible.
You can buy whipped cream in a can. I'm not expecting Martha Stewart Christmas morning. Martha Stewart-esque.
We switched quite a few years ago now to having our Christmas mornings made ahead. Before that, Christy had taught me this Christmas breakfast. It's a Gordon Ramsay Christmas breakfast.
I was hosting for the first time in a long time. I live quite a ways away from the rest of my family, and so it was our turn to host, and they were all coming, so I kind of went overboard on the planning, which is fine, that's what you do. So I started watching videos on what to make for Christmas morning. For Christmas morning breakfast, I did find a Gordon Ramsay video where he makes very, very creamy scrambled eggs, and since I learned how to make it that way, I can't make scrambled eggs any other way. And there's a lot of butter in it, and there's some heavy cream. Put it on some smoked salmon on top of toasted croissant slice. They toast so nice because they're made of butter. You top those together, sprinkle a little bit of chives.
Now, the first year that I made this, because Christy had told me about it and kind of raved about it, so I was
good.
Really
go look it up. It's on YouTube.
Try.
Go look it up.
One of our cats jumped up on the counter and ate the smoked salmon.
You're stinky cats, man.
So it was very sad because it was Christmas. It's not like you could just run to the store
and go buy more smoked salmon, although I probably had some.
For those of you that don't know, Christy's my neighbor 2 doors down. We borrow things back and forth a lot.
Her kitchen is my kitchen. Actually, I know her kitchen as well as I know my own kitchen because I'm here all the time. Go on about your cat.
Anyway, that was really disappointing. But the following year we had it and it was great. And so now we still make that occasionally, but never for Christmas because we've discovered that if you make it ahead, like we're doing today, oh my goodness.
It's so much better.
So much better.
You can have Gordon Ramsay's Christmas breakfast anytime. One time you made it and there was too much, and so she sent some to our house. My husband and I were literally still in bed. I came downstairs with a house coat and pajamas on and opened up the door to one of her kids standing there with the plate of breakfast. And I'm like, thank you very much. Shut the door. And we went back and had breakfast in bed. Thank you very much.
Last year we did frittata and hash brown casserole. At the end of this video, I will link to that video. They worked amazingly because last year's Christmas breakfast was awesome at my house and your house. Okay, the next thing we're making, we just started making this, like just. We made it in our mega session. Again, for those of you who are new to our channel, welcome. Christy and I get together once every 3 months and we make enough food to last both of our families for the next 3 months.
Yes.
We call them our mega sessions. And in our last one, I'll pop a video right there, we made 129 freezer meals. One of the ones we tried, completely new to us, was Shakshuka.
Yes, Shakshuka.
So exciting.
If you go and watch that video, make a little note for the 1 hour, 18-minute mark. Don't let that scare you. They are about 2 hours long, our mega sessions, because when you're making 129 meals or more, and we have sped up parts, but it's a lot. So some people just throw it on and, do their own prep or
their laundry
or wash dishes or just sit and watch us like we're TV. But that's where you want to look for our talk about the Shakshukas.
That was our favorite part of that whole day. Anyway, we've tried it now.
Delicious.
Amazing. So you're gonna want to add your eggs on Christmas morning. You're not gonna add them and put them in the freezer. Some dishes you can do that. For this one, no. We're gonna tell you about how to make 2 versions of shakshuka because maybe you like things a little spicier or maybe you like them a little milder. Whatever you like, we've got something for you.
The first shakshuka, which is the milder one, we start out with fire roasted tomatoes, which are super flavorful, but not terribly spicy. We're going to add in diced onion, some minced garlic, some diced red peppers, some smoked paprika, chili powder, cumin, and parsley. You're gonna mix this around in your bag. Get all that excess air out because when it comes to freezer meals, air is the enemy. And actually it just causes your freezer burn, so you have to get as much out as you can. Seal it up and freeze it. On the day of cooking, this is one that you're gonna let it thaw. You are going to put it in a large skillet and heat it till it's simmering. And once your onions have softened and those flavors have started to meld, you can actually make little divots in the sauce and crack your eggs into it and poach them right into the sauce. And that is why you wouldn't want to put them in ahead of time. That way you can have your perfect egg right in the sauce. You want to serve this with some bread. What else did you have?
You can sprinkle some feta on top if you want and just serve it with some crusty bread. And I did salt and pepper my eggs.
I would salt and pepper my eggs.
The nice thing is, if you like your eggs runny, you can make them runny. And if someone in your family likes them more well done than others, you can put theirs in
first. Shakshuka is the new Christmas of 2023. I don't know. We'll have to see. You'll have to get back to us and tell us if you did it. Now for the spicy one, it's not super spicy. It's got banana peppers in it. It's
just
not
has a little bit of a kick.
A little bit more of a kick. Okay, so this one, we start out with the same. You're going to add roasted red peppers that have been sliced, some banana peppers. Here's where some of the heat comes in. Just a bit of a kick. We just need a 1/4 cup. We're going to add smoked paprika, chili powder, cumin, and parsley. Again, we're gonna mix this around in the bag, get all the air out of the bag that we can, seal it up. And it's the same instructions on cooking day. We're going to simmer it. We're gonna make our little divots for our eggs, add them in, and serve. This is gonna wow your guests on Christmas morning.
It is so good, and it's a nice change. Like, this is really different.
No, some people are really hard into their Christmas traditions.
Yes.
Like, it felt very weird for me to make the Gordon Ramsay Christmas breakfast without having wife saver. You know what wife saver is, the layers of bread and ham and cheese with the egg and the cornflakes on top. For years we had that for Christmas breakfast growing up, and I think a lot of families have done that. And our neighbor came down the hill to have Christmas breakfast with us.
Oh, that's nice.
It was always nice. It was always, so I think of her on Christmas. And so for me to switch it up a little bit, I thought it was too strong of a switch, so I made both.
Okay.
So that the traditionalists could still have their wife saver. And I still love it.
Well, one of the things that I like about this shakshuka option for Christmas is that it's red.
It's Christmas Christmassy.
So it's Christmassy. And
Oh, you're
this
funny.
could become a new Christmas tradition.
Totally
and
could.
if you sprinkled some fresh parsley on top, it would be red and green.
It would. With the
You
feta?
have feta, so it's like snow.
Oh, gosh.
I can make anything work. Anyway, this next meal came to us in a different way. It's not as Christmassy. So
But it's just as wholesome.
Christy told us about a show that she watched. It's called
You told us.
My husband and I, and Christy and her husband, we watched this show and it's really trashy.
Super trashy.
It's called Below Deck. We call it the boat show because Christy started calling it the boat show, so now we call it the boat show too.
It's the easiest way to, because there's many of them. There's Below Deck, then there's Below Deck Adventure, there's Below Deck Sailing, there's Below Deck Mediterranean.
When I
Trash TV.
convinced Christy to give this a try, it was because I told her it has all the things. Like, it has the food, which is the biggest reason I watch it for, because there's a chef on each of these
Mega yachts.
mega yacht cruise things. They do like unique, inventive food, and they have to figure out like the guests have certain dietary needs or certain preferences, and they have to work around that on short notice.
And they work
that
local
impresses
stuff
me.
in. Have you seen the
Yes.
one where they actually went and caught octopus and
Yes.
like cooked it in the med?
I love that cooking. It's got travel because they're all over the world. So you do see different locations, or you see
And they're
things
all beautiful places.
so beautiful.
Yeah.
And it's got sort of lifestyles of the rich and famous, so things you would not normally like. I was like, people unpack your luggage for you? Like,
Here,
this is a
steam
thing?
this, unpack
Yeah,
my luggage.
right?
Or we're gonna have a beach picnic today, except in the med. It's at the top of a castle, and so all the staff has to haul all the tables, the chairs, the food, the coolers, the drinks, the umbrellas, the you name it, and they haul it all up there and set it up. So the guests go up on their donkey, maybe. And no, I haven't seen a donkey yet, but they could probably use some donkeys. And then they have their beautiful castle top lunch, and then they pack it all back down again, and the guests just go back to the boat. And there's somebody waiting at the boat with cool towels and champagne, and it's like
true. Sometimes the guests are lovely. Like, they are so kind and so warm and just sweet. And other times you cannot believe the entitlement. So anyway,
it's a nightmare.
Complete
It's great.
trash TV because there's also like
Plus-
romances
right.
between the crew and
and fights between the crew, because the romances, boatmances don't always
the things we talk about the most is the food.
is the food.
And the chefs are incredible with a few exceptions, but Chef Rachel.
My
yes.
goodness, this woman can cook.
And it's inspiring. And, you know, I love getting inspiration to create new recipes. And so watching this show, I mean, I can say it's research.
It
I'm
is
not
re-
watching
she
trash
is
TV.
re-
I'm
she is
just doing
researching.
research. This next recipe is Chef Rachel's very famous French toast.
Yum.
These are, again, they're wealthier people and they've eaten in the finest establishments. All of them are saying this is the best breakfast I've ever had. This is the best French toast
And,
I've had
and you're
in my
thinking,
life.
it's French toast. What could you do to French toast to make people fall off their chairs?
I was able to find a recipe. It was better than regular French toast by a mile. And we're like, oh, okay, I can see how you can elevate French toast. It's a little bit more work, but you're gonna do the work today.
Right.
You're not gonna do it on Christmas morning, because Christmas morning, you're just gonna reheat it. So let's get into this recipe. So for this, you're going to use either brioche or challah. The first time we made this, we were in the mountains and we were near a bakery where they had amazing challah, so we used that. But you can use brioche or challah, whatever you can find. You're gonna cut that into about 1-inch slices. Then you're going to make a custard, basically. You're gonna mix together egg yolks, high quality vanilla, almond extract, and sugar. The color will change and get lighter even though you're only using egg yolks, so you want to watch for that to happen, and you want to beat this for about 5 minutes. Then you're going to pour in some heavy cream or whipping cream and whip it for about another minute. Then you're going to put that into a shallow bowl or like a casserole dish, something so that it's not as deep. You're going to heat some butter in a skillet or an electric skillet, and then you're gonna dip your bread in the custard. You don't wanna soak them, you just wanna dip them lightly on each side, and then put that into your hot butter that's in your skillet. You're gonna flip that over when it's cooked to your liking on the one side and finish cooking it on the other side. And now here is the key for making this ahead as a freezer meal. You're gonna then place this onto a parchment paper lined cookie sheet and freeze it in a single layer in your freezer. Once it's fully frozen, then you're gonna transfer it into your freezer bag. On the day you go to make this, Chef Rachel makes hers with a homemade chantilly cream, and there isn't really a way to make that ahead and freeze it, so you're gonna have to whip up your chantilly cream on the day of, or we didn't actually have access to electric beaters when we made this in the mountains, so we just served ours with maple syrup, and it was great. We didn't miss the chantilly cream, but if you want to make authentic Chef Rachel French toast, then you're going to do the chantilly cream. You're going to make that up, and I will link a recipe in the description below so you can find her chantilly cream, and then you can have some fresh mint and berries and your maple syrup.
Now, I haven't had a chance to try this, but even just you describing this makes me want to go home and make this right now.
It's so
right now
good, and
like
because of the brioche or challah, like it's crunchy on the outside and soft on the inside, and it's thick. One thing with this is the reheating is a little bit different than our regular French toast, and especially for Christmas morning. For most of our French toasts, we just reheat them in our toaster. Super easy, pop it down. We do that with waffles too that we freeze ahead, but with this, you're gonna be making a lot at one time, so I do suggest that you put them on a cookie sheet and cook them in your oven. You won't need to cook them for very long because they're already cooked. You're just gonna be reheating them.
Right. That is so exciting. I am so excited because I have been eyeing up these waffles for a long time. I'm so glad you did your research.
I know. And while they cook up, you can be making your chantilly cream.
Right.
If you want.
And chantilly cream is really just fancy whipping cream, right? Like
really, it's just whipping cream with making sure that you use a very high quality vanilla again and a bit of sugar. That's it.
Like it's your regular whipping cream. It's the vanilla, and it just makes it fancy. And it's fancy to call it chantilly.
Of course, and on Christmas, you want things to feel like special.
Do you know what I think of when I think of chantilly? Big Bopper.
What is Big Bopper?
Chantilly lace and a pretty face and a ponytail hanging down. Wiggle in your walk and a giggle in your talk. Makes the world go round.
There you go. Little did you know you would be getting a Christmas concert as well. We're gonna put a video right there to those other Christmas morning ideas. That way, if you want to maybe mix and match, maybe you want to do like the hash brown casserole and Chef Rachel's French toast, or the mixed berry French toast and a frittata because you've got some people that are gluten-free.
Maybe you could do a French toast extravaganza and do your mixed berry French toast, Chef Rachel's French toast, and then in the Freezer Meals 101 website and in the club, there is Charlotte's French toast that has like orange peel in it, and it is also very fancy. It is not Chef Rachel fancy, but it's really nice.
It's really good.
Spoiler alert, you make it with cinnamon bread. Thick sliced cinnamon bread. Not cinnamon raisin, cinnamon bread.
Very good. And if you wanted to make it with cinnamon raisin, you totally could.
Totally could. Yeah. So you could have a French toast Christmas. I'm going to paint that as a picture. I don't paint, but if I do, I'm going to make that one. Thanks for watching us today. Happy holidays.
And happy cooking.